I love you, sweetie.
Love you too.
Oh, we're on here. We're on here.
Oh.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Welcome to the Opperman Report. I am your host, private investigator and dad, Ed Opperman. This show is brought to you by Audible.com. You go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. Get yourself a free audiobook and help support the show. You sign up for free, you get free audiobooks. It's a great deal. You can't beat it. Okay. All right. Tonight we're doing a special live show. Me and my beautiful daughter. We had some great news this week, so we just want to celebrate and explain to everybody what's been going on. We've had so much love and support and prayers from so many listeners out there and friends of ours that we all just want to thank you for all your help throughout the past 18 months of hell that we've gone through. So we just want to give you an update on all of that. But before we get to that, I have a guest with me tonight, Victoria Maria Opperman, my daughter, host of Talking Back.
The show that is nowhere to be found.
Vic's going to relaunch her radio show. The new show is going to be called Talking Back.
Yep.
It will be found in the Opperman Report members section.
It will. I didn't know we were pissing off your fans today.
No, that's okay. I'll introduce you in a minute, Vic, okay?
Okay.
This is live professional radio. This is not the Teen Truth Happy Hour.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So, anyway, in the past couple of weeks, in the members section, we've had some great interviews put up. We interviewed Timothy Holmseth about the murder of Haley Cummings. And he made some really breaking announcement that hasn't been heard before anywhere about how there's a child pornography film of Haley Cummings. Which was that case with Misty Cummings and all of them down there in Florida with all the stuff about them selling OxyContin and stuff. He's been following this case very closely, and the guy gets death threats and all kinds of harassment you wouldn't believe. So that's up in the members section. Then we did a show with Hank Harrison where John Potash called in. John Potash, the author of Drugs Used as a Weapon Against Us, and he's also the author of the FBI War on Tupac Shakur. And John had done some investigation. He had interviewed Hank for his book about drugs used as a weapon against us, and he had some information. So I just happened to be chatting with him on Facebook during my interview with Hank Harrison, because we were talking to Hank Harrison about the movie Soaked in Bleach that just came out. And John had some questions for Hank, and it came out during our show that Courtney Love, as a teenager, when she was, I forget right now, but I think it was Germany or Japan or Ireland, when she was in Ireland, that she hooked up as a teenager with an adult CIA agent over there. And that's never been reported before. So that's on our members section. Yesterday, I did an interview with the boxing legend, referee Richard Steele. Okay? And a great guy. I really enjoyed the interview. And that's up in our members section right now. It's available right now. You can go on there, sign up, and listen to that. And I was expecting to talk about, the Mike Tyson fight with the Razor Ruddock when they had to carry him out of the ring to save his life because it was like a riot in the ring. And the Hearns-Hagler fight and all that kind of stuff. But this guy, it turns out, growing up, before he went into the Marines and he fought on the same boxing team as Ken Norton, this guy knew Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Louis, those kind of guys. So we talked about them. We talked about Muhammad Ali. We talked about Don King. We talked about Larry Holmes. And a very interesting guy. I really enjoyed my interview with him. It was a very fun interview. In the member section also, too, recently, what did we do recently? We did an interview with a woman named Caroline Robinson from the UK, and she's the great niece of Jimmy Savile, and she described her how Jimmy Savile molested her several times, sometimes in front of her entire family, and how he also came to her wedding engagement party and he molested her there. Just fascinating information. Then we had a guy on named Daniel E. Moore, who's an activist, and he discussed about how when he was in the military, there were several attempts on his life by a satanic cult that he believes is the Temple of Set. So a lot of people enjoyed that interview as well. That's up there with all our other shows that are up there in the member section. Now tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm taping 2 big shows. One is with a guy in the UK early in the morning. I'm going to be taping with him. His name is Tim Tate, and he's a producer, director, filmmaker from a company in the UK called Interesting Films. And he actually interviewed Aquino and Lilith, Aquino's wife, about the Presidio scandal, as well as many other topics that all fall into line with the kind of stuff that we're interested in and all the stuff that we cover on this show. That's tomorrow. After him, right after him, I got another interview I'm going to be doing taping, which I cannot discuss yet. It is an expert who has never been interviewed before, who testified in a major trial and has been stalked and harassed and threatened all over the place. Forget it. He's never done an interview before, so we're going to be bringing out his testimony in our show, get him on record. And I think people are going to be shocked about that, and I think they're going to be very impressed and very excited to hear about that show. Oh, boy. So, Vic, are you there?
Yeah.
You bored already?
That was a very long promo session.
Well, listen, we got to make some money, right?
But I do have to say, for your secret interview tomorrow,
yeah,
I know who it is. And, of course, I'm not going to say it. But, because that would kind of ruin the surprise.
Yeah, well, Michael killed. Go ahead.
Oops. I know what you were about to say. Okay, but it's going to be an episode that'll definitely either piss you off or get you really excited, So basically what I'm saying is go buy it in the membership section when it comes out,
Actually, because you know what we're planning. I may not actually put it up.
Planning.
I may not put it up in the members tomorrow because there's another guest we want to interview, and we may put them both in the same. Same show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
So I'm working on that, but whatever. We have to keep it quiet for now. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's a huge. We got very lucky to get this.
Yeah, really huge.
Okay, so now Vic, what do you want to tell us about yourself and what you've been doing?
Oh, am I supposed to? Okay.
Do a little intro for yourself.
Well, hi, I'm Victoria Opperman, if you don't know who I am already. I previously was the radio host of Teen Truth, and now I'm kind of revamping with Talking Back, as my dad already said. I'm 14 years old, and currently, it's since it's summer vacation, I'm doing an internship down there at the Church of Las Vegas. Is it Southern Las Vegas?
Yeah, the Church of South Las Vegas, it's called.
South Las Vegas. And so, what up? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to be doing in the future. Like, I'm possibly opening up a shop, which none of you guys are probably interested in. I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And it's just, a lot of really exciting stuff coming up, since we have this huge announcement today.
Yeah, the audience loves Vic. Because they don't have to live with you.
Yeah.
But it's true. The audience definitely does love Victoria. And I think they'll be happy to listen to your show when we start putting up in the member section.
Yeah.
And also, too, the store that you're putting up on the web.
Yes.
I'm sure people would be interested. Why don't you tell us what you have in mind and how you're creating it?
Well, it's more of a fandom website, and I'm sure none of your viewers kind of relate to this, but maybe their teenage daughters or teenage sons might. There's a lot of, different TV shows or actors or bands or whatever where their merchandise themselves are very expensive, Like, I know some of Taylor's stuff runs for, like, $50 each. So there's a pretty easy way to make the stuff on your own. So I've kind of decided to do stuff like that, maybe some little like quote t-shirts and stuff. And also I'm going to be doing all natural tie-dye, where basically I've kind of learned through some research that you can take different like natural products and soak them in and make dye. So that'll be available. Some t-shirts will be available and stuff like that. I'm thinking of doing phone cases. So if anyone wants phone cases, yeah. I mean, I'll also be taking requests. So I guess if anyone like from your side, you know, your kind of older demographic, like, I mean, they're not teenagers. I'm not really talking to teenagers. Okay. But I mean, I'd be willing to do like, you know, Ed Opperman phone cases or whatever, oh. But, you know, I mean, I'd be willing to do stuff for, you know, maybe people who are interested in more, like, case kind of stuff, you know.
So you're going to knock off my name. You're going to use my name to sell.
Oh, totally. I'm going to use your name. You know, I've been using it for years now.
Any kind of license or anything like that, or any kind of...
Nope.
Oh, well, very good. Okay, good. I'll see you in prison there. Now, who came up with this idea about using these naturally... created dyes? That sounds very fascinating. That must have been a brilliant...
That wasn't you!
No.
Okay, so, well, basically we were in Target, and we were looking for cheap dyes, and we found, like, one little cheap dye thing. And then I was like, well, can't we make these on your own? And you were telling me about how you used to take those, what were they called?
Streamers.
Streamers. And, like, dye those, you know, and use the color from the paper.
Crepe paper.
Dye.
Crepe paper streamers.
Yeah. And that kind of sparked the idea to kind of look up natural things to dye the stuff with.
So the words never came out of my mouth. Hey, why don't you Google how to make natural dye?
Oh, okay, that maybe came out.
Okay. You know, it's one thing to get ripped off, you know.
I mean, look, what you're about to announce was all my working.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. So now,
okay.
Me and Vic, we're both in a good mood.
Yeah.
And we've been in a good mood. We woke up in a good mood, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, because I know you get, you know, the listeners probably usually get, like, negative Ed Opperman, you know? And it's not like he just gets in a bad mood during the shows, you know? That's him, like, every day. So I have to say that today was a lot different, you know?
It's so true. You know, when we started doing this show, we started doing the show in September on a Thursday afternoon at 11 a.m., and we did about 5 shows, you know, it was like late September 24th we started. So September, October, November, we started. And we did about 8 shows. And I love those shows. I had a lot of fun doing those shows, even though I don't like waking up early and doing shows.
Yeah.
But then I had to take a break from the show because we had a financial attack on our business. That was some blowback and some kickback that we got at that time. So we started up again in January, about a year and a half ago. January 2013, I guess, right?
14.
Yeah, right, because it was January, right?
2014. Yeah.
So the show started back up in January 2014, and at the same time that I launched my book, went live on Amazon, I was invited to go on all these big shows, Coast to Coast AM. I was on, who's that guy? John B. Wells' show.
Yeah.
All these big shows I was doing, you know?
Yeah, huge shows. I mean, I don't think we've topped Coast to Coast since then, right?
Not as far as response goes. No, we got huge response from Coast to Coast. Jobs came flying in. You would not believe. I was getting big jobs every day. We sold a ton of books. You know, so Vic was struggling over at her mom's house. At that time, I think she was at my house about 4 days a week.
Yeah.
It was from Sunday morning until like Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was about half, you know, as close as we could get to splitting down in the middle, you know?
Yeah, well, if you count Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's 4 days.
Well, because it was basketball practice, right? When we would do the switch off?
Yeah, at 8 o'clock at night, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess.
So, and she would come over Sunday morning, 6:30 in the morning, too.
Yeah, it was
a crazy situation, you know, because her mother had to go to work at like 7 o'clock in the morning, so she would drop off Victoria at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we'd come back and we'd basically go back to bed.
Yeah.
And it was an exhausting day because Sunday church is pretty tiring. You're retrospective, you're inflecting. Inflecting?
Reflecting.
Reflecting, right. Yeah.
Reflecting.
Reflecting.
Reflective surfaces.
Oh, there you go. You got a mirror with you. So, all this is going on. But Vic was having some trouble. Not major trouble. What happened over at her mom's house was that Vic's grandmother was sick for like a year. And she didn't have a room over there. She was sharing a room with her mother, and she didn't have any privacy. And what were some of the other complaints you had at the time?
I mean, I think, honestly, kind of what started, I hate to say this, but I think the deaths in the family definitely took a toll on things, because, and I mean, I'm over it now. I think we've kind of gotten over it. We've discussed it and stuff. So it's we're close to being resolved here. And it's not, me like picking fights or anything, but it definitely kind of felt like I was being not like abandoned, but just kind of left behind, when all I wanted to do was help,
A lot of stress. There was a lot of stress over there. And even during that time, that's when we were doing the Bikram yoga almost every day.
Oh, I love that so much.
I know, I miss it too. Maybe we're getting back in shape now. We have the stress behind us.
Definitely, yeah.
So, but the thing
is, we're starting the Daniel Fast next month, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Anyone wants to join? I feel like I'm like, I can't say this. Okay, never mind. Keep going.
So, in January, about 18 months ago, we contacted her mom. I sent her a couple of emails, and I said, listen, Vic's upset. She doesn't have a room. She's not allowed to close her door. She has no privacy, and there's a lot of conflict. She was crying when it was time to leave here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even in the morning, on Sunday mornings when she would show up, she'd show up crying.
Yeah. Plus, therapy with Austin was back then too,
Oh yeah, that was the first therapy, right?
Yeah, stuff was going on basically. Yeah. I mean, things weren't going good. I think the relationship was kind of being, weakened. I guess would be the best way to describe it.
Right. So, I sent some emails to her mom saying, hey, listen, why don't you guys take a little break and have Victoria spend some more time over here?
Yeah.
And I think that'll help you guys get along better because there's a lot of button heads.
Yeah.
And so she ignored that. As a matter of fact, Victoria, you were in therapy with Jamie Austin.
Oh.
And you told her.
We got to bring this stuff up again. Okay, well, basically, I was in therapy with Jamie Austin, and we were doing like joint therapy then because we had some stuff going on in the family that brought up drama,
Right.
I hate to call it drama. That sounds petty. But, we had some stuff going on, and I just remember them kind of, taking out this piece of paper and, started reading it to me and started saying, what's going on with this and what's going on with that. And then, people were giving me legal advice, telling me I can't choose.
That was actually a little bit later.
Yeah, but I guess kind of mushes in,
Because what happened was I was sending your mom emails saying, hey, Vic would like to spend more time here.
Yeah.
And she said to me, well, Victoria hasn't verbalized this to me. And I know you went back to therapy after that, and there was a whole therapy session about this, that you wanted to spend more time here.
Yeah.
Right.
It was... Back then, we weren't really talking that much, so to verbalize it to her would be in therapy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's a whole nother thing, too. Is the whole thing, too, with Victoria back then was the only time she would spend with her mother was on Saturday afternoons. They would go, or was it Fridays?
I don't remember.
But you would go to therapy with your mom, with Jamie Austin. Then you would go shopping after that, and then that was it. You'd go grocery shopping in the session, and that was the only time you were spending together.
Yeah, I mean, that and, back then we were spending a bit of time together, dinners and maybe, watching TV every once in a while. But it definitely wasn't as close as we are, and as much time we hang out.
Yeah.
But I mean, comparing it is silly.
Well, we're going to have to start cutting that back anyways.
Yeah, now we need a schedule.
Yeah. So, we were emailing back and forth, and the mother ignored the emails, and she said, oh, Victoria doesn't, and I knew Victoria had told us because there was a whole therapy session about it. And so then there's a legal letter.
I feel like laying all this out is going to screw us over.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Just so people get an idea of what we've been through.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, I think honestly, I know this is jumping like really far, but I think there was definitely after shows and stuff where we would talk about this.
Yeah.
And I think people definitely got a glimpse into what we were going through.
Well, I think everybody has. You know what? I think a lot of people have an idea of what we've been through the past 18 months, but I think a lot of people too have been kind of hostile about it and kind of have an attitude. But anyway.
Which, by the way, right?
Yeah.
When people tell you to just stop promoting things and stop asking everyone for money, it's or showing you the Spreaker episodes that they bought from the they stole from the member section. I understand you can pirate things on the internet, but it's not funny. Yeah. We don't appreciate it. I mean, you're kind of just saying, haha, I'm taking your food money,
Because we are kind of struggling here. And there's a reason why we're struggling, and we're trying to explain.
Yeah.
Because before we got into this litigation, what we're trying to say is, things were going really good. We had the new book. We were getting a ton of jobs were coming in through our belt, through the coast to coast.
Yeah.
We were doing really good.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried to do things nice and cool with the mom. We sent her the emails, but then after that, there's a letter you have before you go to court. There's a letter you have to send here in Nevada. I think it's called Rule 411 letter, where basically you lay out the what's going on, and hey, you've got to make some changes here. So the mom never responded to that letter, and instead, what she did was she reestablished the therapy sessions with this therapist, Jamie Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the two of them were ganging up on Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why don't you describe what that was like?
I remember I would go in there, and no kidding here. It would literally be well, during the basketball game, you looked at your dad 5 times, and you hugged him 2 times, and you only hugged your mom once. And it was stuff like that, where we'd be sitting there for a whole therapy session talking about how I can hug my mom and how I can pay attention to my mom more during a basketball game, And it would just kind of turn into, well, you need to keep sure that you're looking at your mom and you're looking at your dad equally, and you need to keep sure that even when your mom isn't directly there, and that's why you're hugging your dad first, you need to keep sure that you hug her before you hug your dad, because she sees it as this horrible betrayal. And then she'd pull out phone records and say, oh, you called me this many times, and I know you call your dad every day. It was just ridiculous, petty stuff, where it would be you're doing this wrong, and your mom's fine. Your mom's dandy. She's doing everything right,
Right, yeah. And it was some of the more complicated issues that we can't get into because it's way too bitter and ugly. But that whole incident with all those text messages going back and forth with that night before the trip to New York City, we don't want to get into all that kind of details there. But
all we're gonna say is that I think my grandpa wasn't the biggest person in my life, but I missed out on something that I would love to go to. It should have been something I went to.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, it was just a crazy situation, man.
It was just,
It just seems like this.
I had to go to school the next day.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation and just the way tragedy was handled, and the way that I was getting information was craziness.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of simple things could just get blown out of.
I feel honestly, because the thing is that I can take responsibility in the situations too. I feel like if me and my mom simply just communicated from the beginning, of course, things, of course, happened that we can't take back, and there's huge things that happen that wouldn't be just fixed with communication. But there's some things that got blown out of proportion that could have been fixed with communication.
Just for no reason, just like a simple little thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so when we didn't get a response back to that 411 letter, which basically said, hey, we want a little bit more time. Victoria wants privacy in her room. She wants to be able to close her door. It was really basic stuff. We weren't even, that letter wasn't even asking for a lot of stuff.
Was that the letter that they showed me, or was that the letter that, because I don't know technical stuff.
Yeah, that's the letter
that was the letter that we ended therapy with, or was that the letter that they bombarded with me with?
No, that's the letter that they pulled, that Jamie Austin pulled out in therapy, a legal letter.
Yeah.
That confronted you with, okay? Which you would think would be a crime, right, guys? You would think if you reported that to the Nevada Board of Psychological Examiners, they would do something about things like that. But in Nevada, no, they don't. And
you would think that after you call CPS like 4 times that they would finally respond.
Yeah, and our wonderful governor here, Brian Sandoval, who appoints these people to the Nevada Board of Psychological Examiners, doing a great job. Hey, great job there, Brownie. You're doing a great job. Okay, but so there was that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then, when that didn't work out, so now Victoria had been given something called teenage. She had turned 13 years old. And
well, I was given. Can I explain this?
No, I'll take care of this. Relax for a second, okay? Because you're starting to bug me. But what happened was, okay?
We love each other.
I know. Yeah, we really do have a lot of fun, and everybody. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, way a long time ago, like in 2007, 2008, when Victoria was like 9 years old, we had given her what is called discretion to decide where to spend Wednesday after school. She could either spend it over here or she could spend it with her mom.
Well, it was missionettes, right?
Right. So that's called discretion.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hit teenage years, you're allowed teenage discretion to decide where you want to live. So since she had already been given that discretion by both of us way earlier before, this was a no-brainer. This was a simple no-brainer to go into court and file a little motion here because the kid's already been making up her mind about Wednesdays. She's a teenager now. She's mature. The kid has her own radio show. She's doing this. She's doing that. She's a star of the basketball team. She's a star of the youth group at church, honor roll at school, all this stuff. Okay? It should have been a simple, tiny little process to fill out this little motion and for the judge to interview Victoria and say, well, Victoria, you seem like a very brilliant kid. Everyone agrees this kid's brilliant, you know?
Thank you.
Yes. Although this whole thing with you stealing these people's copyrighted licensing and image is going to wind you up in prison.
I was about to be like, what did I steal?
You're on your own with that. Okay.
I'm on my own.
All right,
this is a taped confession.
Yeah, that's right. You confessed here. Big joke.
But by the way, for the record, I'm not taking anyone's stuff. I'm going to use my own images. I'm going to use my own, phrases or whatever. It's not going to be something completely taken from, like, I'm not going to steal the merchandise from Taylor Swift and just make it myself, you know?
Great, it's all perfectly legal.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't misinterpreted.
Yeah, I hope so.
We're going to be like, cheaper Taylor stuff.
Yeah, gee whiz, how are you going to do that? Well, I'm stealing it. It's stolen merchandise. Of course I can sell it cheaper.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah,
Taylor Swift sues everybody. Don't do it.
So
but I'm sorry, keep going.
Hold on. Again, this is back in January. Again, we're making money. Okay, you know.
Everything was going really good. You know, I think we had...
Oh, no, wait, hold on a second. Because I also want to point out, too, is that
keep talking.
I have had a very successful career, you know, and this was, again, a very successful phase of our life here, you know, even after having the whole burden of having Victoria for the whole year with no child support. That whole year prior, she was here almost every single day. We got no child support for any of that time. All the years when I had her for 4 days, and mother only had her for 3 days, when I should have gotten child support, never got child support. In the whole first litigation, lost all my money, you know, lost my home, everything. In the first settlement. My 401k got not even 10% of what I had in my 401k. And then even what we would agree to, I never would even get what I agreed to, you know? And we can get into all of that in a future book or show. We'll do.
Yeah.
Maybe in a member section.
It's something for later on, you know?
We'll go into real detail. But so we went to file this really simple motion saying, hey, Victoria should have some time. And one of the things I mentioned in there was that she was being harassed by this therapist, Dr. Jamie Austin, here in Henderson, Nevada. And what immediately happened was once I served her mom with those papers, she ran to this therapist, showed her that. The therapist confronted Victoria in therapy.
You mind if I take over real quick
I don't mind. Go ahead.
about this? Okay, so I came in one day, right? And it was I'm pretty sure the last day I was with Jamie Austin. Yeah, it was. And she kind of said, hey, because we've talked about the litigation. I mean, not the litigation, but, me wanting more time. We talked about that. She already gave me legal advice, already telling me how the process is going to go. She was like, you're going to walk in, they're going to talk to you over here, and then, something else is going to happen. But this is, but the first time they come in is just going to be like, where you and your parents, talk it out, and if you can't come to a decision, then it'll go to like a higher court or whatever, So she already did that. And then she comes in and she says, oh, well, your dad said that, I've been harassing you in these, these sessions, right? So obviously I didn't know that was written down in the letter because my dad doesn't tell me court stuff. And I was like, oh, really? Like, that's so weird, I'm sure that was just, wrong wording. And I felt really bad, because she was making it up to be like this horrible thing and that, we couldn't continue therapy because of this. And now she needs to write a report, She told me, like, now I need to write a report because, this court document says that I'm harassing you, right? And she said, so what would you like to be, like, you're allowed to decide what you want to be left out, in my notes, or like if there's any topics that you don't want me to discuss in the, like the whatever she had to write the report, And I was like, oh, well, I'm sorry you have to do that. I'm sorry we have to discontinue, because of this weird wording, I'm sure it wasn't meant to be said as harassed, I felt really bad. And I was like, I would prefer it if there was nothing, that nothing was said because I like the privacy. I mean, I knew when I was little after we talked to someone, I got screwed over, by what I said. So I was like, yeah, if you could not say anything, that'd be great. But I understand if you have to, I'm so sorry, Lola. And yeah, that's basically all I kind of heard, after that.
Right. So it's kind of a funny story with her because I caught her. I was emailing back and forth with this, and I hear that you're going to ambush me with some kind of report. Now, even though, by the way, too, when we first went to sign up with this woman, she told us that none of her stuff would be used in court. She's never testified in court before. She's only been licensed 3 years at the time. Very unprofessional person. And she tells me, oh, yeah, none of this will be used in court. It's not involved with court. So she completely lied to me. And then she did do a report for court for my ex-wife. But the thing is, too, is funny, is I caught her. I was emailing back and forth with her. And I caught her forwarding our emails to my ex-wife. And I says, what the hell are you doing? I says, why are you sending my private communications with you to someone I'm in litigation with? And she goes, oh, well, I always send any kind of communication. I send it to the other parent as well. I said, well, you never send me any of her emails. Send me all of her emails. And she does. She sends me all of the emails with my ex-wife. And in them, she's corresponding with her saying, before I can write this report, I need to see what you filed in court so I can write my report to match what you've written in court. Now, by the way, the Board of Psychological Examiners has all this, and still they let this woman get away with this. There's no HIPAA release. There's no Privacy Act waiver. There's nothing. I signed the HIPAA rights acknowledgement when I went into the therapy with this woman. All thrown out the window. All violations. These are criminal violations, by the way. But, of course, again, Brian Sandoval's...
But we don't keep grudges.
No, we don't. No, and if people want to run for governor in this state when they screw aside their constituents, we're going to let people know about that, okay, when they run for re-election.
Are we?
Oh, I will. I don't know about you on your show. My show will.
Yeah, I mean, my show is very positive.
My show is about the truth. It's already 7 o'clock. We've been going for an hour here. Okay, so anyway, we got to move this thing along a little bit.
Sorry.
So anyway, again, this first...
Basically, we got screwed over in therapy.
Right, but the first appearance before this judge should have been a very simple matter. But this judge got a hold of this therapist report, and which was completely filled with lies. I responded to every paragraph in that report with the facts, with photo exhibits, canceled checks, complete lies from this woman. Okay, in her report, just no one could deny they were lies. And but the judge, Jennifer Elliott, bought it hook, line, and sinker. And at that first appearance before her, March 28th, I believe it was, ordered that I could only see Victoria after having her for 4 years, for about 4 days a week for about 7 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, ordered that I could only see Victoria 1 day a week, and we could only talk on the phone for 15 minutes a night. Because she's got all the answers, man. And this is parental alienation, it's parentification, it's all this crap, this crazy nonsense, man. This judge is so freaking nuts, you have no idea. And when she runs,
Dad.
Okay, I got so much on this judge, man, that I probably will file a complaint against this judge. And there's so much on video of this judge saying, the minute you walked into my courtroom, I knew that I knew all about you. You know, I had made up my mind about you the minute you walked in. She's given legal advice to the opposing counsel. She's discussing negotiations between the other counsel. I wasn't allowed to talk in this courtroom at all. Okay, not once. I'm the plaintiff. I wasn't even allowed to go first, not even one time before this judge. The judge is insulting my book. From the bench, ridiculing my book. Okay, this judge couldn't even read a book. Okay, you know. So anyway, so what I did was I tried to support the judge's opponent, and she found out too. She got all pissed off about that.
Well, they already know about that, right? Because we talked about it on the show and stuff.
Yeah, we had him on the show, but not everyone realizes that was about trying to get a new judge in our case and get this judge unelected and get our judge reelected.
It totally wasn't about that.
Of course not.
Of course.
No, but
Sorry.
I did support this other judge. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
So this was a complete nightmare for me and Victoria.
Yeah.
We could only see each other 1 day a week.
It was basically, because it was a Wednesday after school,
right.
And you were supposed to pick me up. And my mom picks me up, and I'm like, what's going on? Because, of course, I didn't know when court days were. I didn't know anything about that, because I think you guys do a really good job of keeping me out of things. And, not really. But, I had no idea what was going on. And then, she sits me down at the table, and she's like, oh, well, you're only allowed to see your dad for 1 day, and you're only talking to him on the phone for 15 minutes. And after that, I was a mess,
So was I.
Yeah,
and you know what too is your mother was even a mess because even she didn't want that. No one expected this to come out. This judge is nuts.
That definitely wasn't something.
Yeah,
I think of course I don't know anything, but I wasn't even expecting that. That wasn't even a thought that crossed my mind when I was like, I want more time.
Yeah, right.
I never thought. I thought it would either be and I think this is even what the therapist said that. The therapist was telling me, Austin, right?
Yeah.
She was like, okay, it can either go that the judge decides to keep what we have now, she decides to give your mom more time, or she decides to give your dad more time, right? And when she said that, I was like, give my mom more time. That's crazy. We're not even, what does that even have to do with anything,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was crazy.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Now me and Vic can only see each other for 1 day a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think you could sleep over, could you?
It was Saturday night to Sunday morning, right?
Oh, yeah, probably what? No, it was because Sunday we went to church still.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever it was, man.
It was, it was Saturday night to Sunday night.
Okay,
I think she picked me up after work. That would make sense.
Okay. Well, anyway, man, it was, I was throwing up, man, when Vic had to leave, this was the worst thing you could imagine.
And the thing is, I think though we had it was pretty much split when we, beforehand.
Yeah.
I would talk to him for hours I talked to my dad for hours on the phone. We would see each other sometimes, basketball games, basketball practice. So, going from 1 day, from practically seeing each other the whole week to seeing each other 1 day a week, was insane.
That's right. Because even the days you weren't living here, I was still coaching the basketball team and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it was, it was a huge shock, I don't think anyone saw it coming, like you said.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was put with a babysitter for the times that my mom was at work. Like, it was ridiculous,
Right, so it was down to 1 day a week. I'd say, well, let's take a little commercial break.
Commercial break?
Yeah, we'll be right back after this. And now a word from our sponsors. We are listener-sponsored, and we appreciate your donations. If you like the show, please visit OppermanReport.com and click on the donate button, or you can donate directly through PayPal at OppermanReport@gmail.com. We have Mike Gray of InfinityHomePlans.com. He's the host of Parlay over at CJ Mars Radio, Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you need custom home designs, stock plans, or 3D work, he's a one-stop shop for home design and graphic needs. Mike Gray at InfinityHomePlans.com. At InfinityHomePlans.com. If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils Independent Distributor. Now, these are 100% therapeutic grade oils. They help support the body's natural functions. You can visit her website posted on Essentially Tammy to see the current deals, or email at JockoTammy, JOCATAMI @yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546. 352-239-8546. Vic, everyone can hear that.
What?
Everyone can. Hey, if you need a private investigator, go to my website, emailrevealer.com. We offer asset searches, locates, skip tracing, adoption investigations, online infidelity investigations. We can recover deleted text messages from a cell phone or trace an email to online dating websites to catch people cheating. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can call 800-572-9762. 800-572-9762 or emailrevealer.com. That's my website. Pacific West Bamboo. It's your premier source for construction and craft-grade bamboo poles. They're announcing their latest project with EcoHead Event Sanitation, making bamboo composting bathrooms and porta potties. Their first display will be at the Lucidity Festival in Santa Ynez, California, April 11th to the 13th. Come by and say hi and see what's been big at camp. Contact them for any kind of event planning, display building. If you make construction grade or craft grade bamboo products, call Amanda at 503-839-8126, 503-839-8126, or visit PacificWestBamboo.com, their brand new website. We're also sponsored by the New World Mexican Limited. This is a rural Mexican craft women's cooperative. They are traditional makers of fine handcrafted authentic jewelry with beautiful stone mosaics, Pacific Street, Abilene, England. They've done one hit with love letters written to their men in the United States, begging them to return to their family from Mexico. But they've written a new book, and it's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider and runs off with him without telling her parents. It's a beautiful life story called Azucena Part 1, Azucena to the Rodeo. You can find their books and jewelry by clicking on their banner ad at OppermanReport.com or by Googling New World Mexican Women. You can also promote your business or website right here and have your ad played all over the world 7 days a week by emailing OppermanReport@gmail.com or calling 800-572-9762. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. Show's brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. Get yourself a free audiobook. So we're at the part of the story where we go into court and we get this devastating attack.
Yeah.
Where our lives are turned upside down. So the first thing I did there was, I had this little BS lawyer. This guy was a jerk. But we didn't need a real lawyer at that time. I paid like $1,500 for this lawyer. Then I went and I showed the video of the court hearing. What are you doing, Vic? Vic, there's a lot of noise in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So then I went to see this retired judge, and we wrote this writ of mandamus to get the judge removed and to get this ruling overturned and all this stuff like that. That was like $3,000. And then at the same time, the judge ordered that I had to pay $4,500 for a custody evaluator. This guy, Dr. Paglini, John Paglini. We'll get into him in a minute. So, it's a lot of money, and I had to take a loan against my car, one of those title loans on my car. My car was all paid off. So now I'm paying $600 a month to this title loan company on top of that. So, plus I can't concentrate on work. I'm running around doing all this stuff, what do you call it, with these custody evaluators and trying to get this writ going and doing these motions and all this kind of stuff. And plus, in a situation where I was suicidal, I'll be totally honest with you, man, I was suicidal when this happened. I saw the pain in my kid. We were both crying, and I was throwing up after she left. It was just devastating to us that you cannot imagine the pain that we were going through. And then we had more court appearances and stuff, and I'm meeting with all these different lawyers. Everybody's giving me different advice, kind of screwing us around. On top of that, a bunch of vultures in this town. You have no idea. So one thing, though, is Victoria was, things got really bad for Vic. She was totally isolated in her room over there for 6 days a week without talking to anybody or being able to talk to anybody or socialize with anyone. She stopped bathing. She stopped brushing her teeth. She really was... and then she would come over here on that one day and just talk nonstop and be hanging on my arm and wouldn't, it was painful to watch and to see this kid suffering this way. Now, the court appoints this guy who is a political hack. He gets these jobs because he's a hack in town. Everybody knows it. They make jokes about him, about how the G in his name is silent because the rumor around town is he gets a kickback for his job. So he kicks back money to the judge, kicks back to the lawyers or a firm. Which is, guys, some of this stuff, I can go into details going way back. Some of the stuff I'm telling you is in the newspapers. It's in the newspapers about bribery with these judges and these lawyers and all kind of stuff like that. The first lawyer we had, there was all kind of bribery scandals with this guy bribing the first judge we had. So it's not, this is, scandalous information. People know what I'm talking about here. It's not a big deal. This is how it is here. In family court here in Clark County, Nevada, the judges and the lawyers, they bring in the families, they size you up, they see how much money you have, and they bleed you dry. And that's how it works. And they don't care who they hurt. They don't care what little girls that they have these vampires have to go after and bleed dry. I just signed some papers at my wife's ex-wife's lawyer's office yesterday. This guy doesn't even have the balls to come out and look me in the eye because he knows he's a piece of crap. And I busted him red-handed. So anyway, and so Victoria's here. She's in this really bad situation where she's not bathing, she's not talking to anybody, she's fighting with her mother constantly. This custody evaluator.
Can I give some background?
Yeah,
do you mind?
Go ahead, shoot.
So basically, we're done with Austin, right? And they told me that I had to go to a different therapist, right? So I started going to, what's his name again?
Ponzo.
Okay, so I started going to Ponzo, okay? And this guy, stuff's going to come out in the future. I can't talk now. But this guy would be screaming at me. This guy would be cursing at me. This guy would be telling me that I'm a horrible person. I'm a bully. I'm this and that and that, So, is my sound quality good?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, good. So, it would get to the point where I just stopped talking to him. I brought in a book, and I sat there for the whole hour, and I just read. And, I thought this would be fine. I thought it'd be a good way to get out of talking to him, get out of starting a fight, get out of him, yelling at me and screaming at me and calling me names and stuff. And it only made it worse, because he used me not talking, and I guess, I guess he got angry for some reason, and then lashed out on me for not talking to him. And there would be times, I think it was one time my mom came in or something, I don't know. And it was a Friday night, because you had your show and stuff, and it was, it was late enough that it was during your show. And they were like, "Oh, what's your dad's number? Let's call your dad. Let's call your dad." And my mom was turning to me and be like, "Oh, what's your dad's number? Let's call your dad. Let's call your dad." And he went through his drawer, didn't even know my dad's name, and was like, "Oh, what's your dad's name again? What's your dad's name?" And they're bullying me, tormenting me into giving my dad's number up or whatever. And then they call you, and of course you're in the middle of a show, so you don't answer, right? And they're like, "Look at him not answering, look at him, look who's not answering, ha ha," And it would just, it was basically worse than Austin,
Oh, yeah, we have tape recordings of this guy.
Hey.
Okay?
No, we don't.
We have this guy on tape cursing at Victoria, telling her, pick up your effing stuff and pick up your goddamn stuff and get the F out of my office.
Yeah.
Screaming, "I have all the authority of the court. I can decide your fate." You
know what sucked too, right?
Yeah.
Because, you got to remember I was in this situation. I was isolated. This is the only guy I was talking to before I get to your house. And after he'd be done with this, he would be like, "I'm so sorry. This is all an act. I'm trying to get you to open up, but I don't know how to. And I just had a rough," he wouldn't say he had a rough day, but he would just make it out to be that this was one of his therapy tools,
Yeah,
and that
you got to remember, Vic went in there to this guy thinking that he was going to help her.
Oh, yeah.
Every other adult that was in contact with this kid was calling Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
The school called. Neighbors called. People who work for me called. Okay, everyone who...
I called.
Victoria called herself. Everyone was trying to get this kid help. She thought this guy was going to help her.
Well, basically, do you mind if I explain?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so the first day I went in there, I was like, "Look, listen, cut the chit chat, whatever. I need you to get me out of this house,
Right.
I need you to call Child Protective Services. I need you, I need to get out of this house right now, or something bad's going to happen, And I mean, honestly, now that I'm out of the situation, I can tell you right now, I was thinking of a running away, It was serious. And he was like, the first day, I thought he was either going to call, And I honestly, I do think he called.
Wait, you got to remember too.
He did call. So
wait. This guy was recommended by Paglini.
Yeah, but I didn't know this.
No, but the Paglini gave this guy
at the
to
time.
Mother. Now Paglini gets ordered by the court, so he sees that the first therapist wrote this stuff and the judge bought a hook, line, and a sinker. He's not going to disagree with the judge. He wants to get another $8,000 tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. So of course he's going to kiss this judge's asses and rubber stamp anything that happens. But tell him what happened when Paglini came to the house and you gave him that.
Can I finish this story because I think this is actually really important.
Go ahead.
So I thought he was going to call, right? So I come back the next week, right? And I'm like, did you call? Did you call? What's going on? So he decides to call in front of me, right? Just to get me to shut up, right? And I swear to you, he calls and he's like, "Hey, I don't really know if this is actually emotional abuse, but I got this girl sitting here right now and she won't shut up about this. So I'm calling to keep, to use this as a therapy tool so she'll open up. But I'm not actually sure what's going on. I don't know if there's actually emotional abuse." So he ruined this whole thing, because honestly at the time, right? And I know when I say whole thing, it's like, wait, what are you talking about? But this whole time I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. Someone needs to call CPS. Someone needs to call CPS. They need to help me. I was literally in my room, and anytime the doorbell would ring, I would get nervous because I thought it was CPS. Not nervous that, Like, what are they going to find out? But nervous that, this was going to be my time out of here, And so he did this stupid call, and we waited weeks. And this, nothing happened. Like, completely and utterly nothing.
I mean, you got to remember, too, now, at this time, this was at the thick of it. When Victoria, when she would come here, she couldn't stop talking. She would just, because she was so isolated.
Yeah.
And you could just glance at this kid and see that she had not taken a shower all week long.
Thanks, Dad.
No, I know, Vic, but listen, it was depression. I was going through depression really bad, too.
Yeah. I mean, there was definitely times where, like, I was thinking I didn't, like, honestly, like, I mean, I think it was a horrible time for both of us,
It was the worst. Yeah, it was horrible, man.
But I think the idea of knowing, like, this is my summer,
Right. Yeah, the whole summer was.
This is my life, like, I'm never getting out of here. It was horrible.
There were some good
I mean,
this, yeah.
when Puglini, it was Puglini, right? Yeah, Puglini. Too many rich guys' names to remember. So when he came, basically what he did was he evaluated my dad's house with me and my dad, and then me and my mom, So from, I wasn't in much of the one with either, parents, because he was, like, mostly, like, kind of looking around the house and, like, taking pictures and stuff, like, that was his thing, I don't know. And everything was good when I was with you, like, because he told us to take a picture, like, we would take a picture next to each other, So I guess, like, why would he do that? Just to, like, keep everything straight filed,
I'll tell you some stuff you don't know about that, okay? Because you remember he came into the house, he took all these pictures. He took a picture of us together.
Yeah.
He said that the pictures of the kitchen didn't come out, but that there was, what do you call it? There was rice in the cabinets that was loose in the cabinets, and that we had dishes that were dirty. All those kind of shit. But these pictures didn't come out.
I can tell you right now, right?
Wait, you know what he said, too, in the report?
What?
He said that I was using your closet in your bedroom as a utility closet because remember when the rug shampooer was in there.
No.
Well, it was, I know because it was in there for one day. I
can tell you right now, right? Like our house is, our house is clean. Like there's no rice in the cabinets, especially then. We kept sure it was nice and stuff. But anyways, so. The picture with us, like, this is something I kind of like to define when, talking about this or whatever. Yeah. The picture with us was good. We're nice, we're smiling, whatever, right? The picture with me and my mom there was, like, an inch between us, I'm not smiling, I'm miserable. My hair wasn't even brushed, Like, and that day, I went over to him. I think it was before he left or something, I don't know. It was, I handed him, like, this note, right? And it said, like, almost word for word, get me out of here, like, please help, Me and my mom have been fighting for 2 days straight, So he, like, pulled me aside. I don't really remember how the conversation went, but it wasn't him saying, oh, let's figure out how to get you out of here, It was more of, so what's going on? Like, I never knew anything was going on, And then he left, and that was it,
Well, no, that too, but he took that note. He put that note, a photocopy of that note, in his report, and then says, I see no reason why Joanne Bruno would not be a good parent. Okay? But thank God this guy wasn't negotiating the release of the hostages in Iran, okay, because they'd still be there right now 50 years later.
Oh my God, Dad. Yeah. I mean, I do also kind of want to remind people, right, that all I knew was what I experienced during this, A
lot more went on than you realize.
What? Yeah, more went on than I realized. Like, I don't read reports, I don't go to court, I don't do anything.
Right.
So for me, it was this sudden thing that just randomly happened, one day. Where one day I'm, with my dad for the whole week, basically.
Every day.
And then the next I have one day and I'm being harassed by, therapists, and my only goal in life is to try to get people to call CPS,
Yeah, I know, yeah. We were pretty desperate there for a while.
And I'm looking up online, like, how emotional abuse works, and I'm like, yeah, I can totally relate to that, This is how I feel, you know? And
Well, the thing is, too, is again with this judge,
crazy.
that even a mother that was arrested for physically abusing the kids, this judge gave that woman custody. So this judge is insane, okay, and has issues about. I guess she doesn't talk to her own kids, and she has to justify this that every father is alienating their kids against their mother. That's her theory.
Who knows? I don't know.
That's her diagnosis of me after meeting me for 10 seconds because she said.
By the way,
yeah,
right? No, this is important, right?
Yeah.
I was in with Ponzo, right? And I don't know, we were in some kind of argument, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, tell me what you think of my dad, and I'll tell you the truth, right?
Right.
And he goes, so is there any alcohol and drug problems? And I was like, what? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, you know, like, it was craziness, you know? And then I think he mentioned something about alienation. I don't know what alienation means, but, you know, something about alienation. And then I remember one time, too, that because I saw a bit of the Jamie report because I think she showed me or someone showed me or something, right?
No, I know what happened. It was on your mother's computer.
No, it wasn't that. It was like someone. I caught a flash of it. It had like this distinct font to it, you know, that you would remember. It said like Jamie report, you know, so it was pretty easy to figure out. And he was shuffling through some papers, right? Oh no, I know how. Plagini showed me it because he was able to ask me questions from it. So he was like, here's the, you know, he showed me the paper. He's like, this is like someone, you know, so-and-so's report, Austin's, right. You know, I'm going to ask you some questions from it because there's some like, you know, accusations or whatever, you know? So I knew what it looked like, you know? And I saw Ponzo shifting through some papers, you know, try to find your phone number or whatever it was, you know, he was shifting through some papers of, you know, of our file. And I saw the report. And I was like, what's this? Like, how does he have that? Is he allowed to have that? Like, whatever, you know? I don't think he is, right?
Well, Ponzo was not allowed to have any reports because one of them was sealed by the judge, and the other one is a court-sealed exhibit that nobody's allowed to have. It's not allowed to leave the lawyer's offices. Now, he admitted to me that he had both of them. You know.
Yeah.
Then when I caught him, because I sent him an email, right, as I got Ponzo. I sent him an email, and I said, listen, can you send me a copy of these reports you have? Because I think the ones you have been altered, the ones that my ex-wife gave you. So he admitted to me that he had both of these reports. And then he says, well, you know what? I shouldn't have the other one because that's a sealed exhibit now that I think about it. I don't think I have that. But he admitted to me that he had it. Yeah,
but I saw it. Like, you know, because the thing is it was this, because, you know, like I said, Plagini showed me it. And it had, like, this, like, childish font on it, you know? So it was easily recognizable. Like, it wasn't something where I could be like, oh, well, that faintly looked like hers, you know?
The judge actually ruled that the Austin report was illegal, unlawful, because there was no HIPAA release or Privacy Act waiver, and that should be sealed, you know? But again, no one cares. They just handed these things out, passed them out all over, full of lies, total crap. Paglini also, too, stole some documents from me, too, when I was in his office, and he was looking for something. The correspondence between me and Austin and the emails was attached, and he couldn't find it. And I had the originals, and I showed it to him. I says, oh, here it is. And then I left it behind. He stole it, and they wouldn't get back to me. It's the originals with checks and stuff like that. So anyway, it's just amazing what went on in this case. The corruption that goes on here in Clark County Family Court.
And it's amazing, too, like, I have to say, right? Some of the stuff you're even revealing now, you know, I had no idea about, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I guess, you know, of course we haven't said what's going on, you know, but looking back, you know, because it's something I think we can start looking back on, you know, it's crazy to think how, you know, screwed over the system is and just how, you know, we're not the only ones that are being treated like this, you know?
No, definitely not. It's a nightmare. This whole system is a nightmare. But now,
like, just imagine some kid that's being physically abused.
Right.
That can't get CPS to come. I remember, I know this is jumping, but when I was talking to Pam Cross, our school counselor, which, by the way, she's amazing,
yeah,
you know.
She was good. She
I don't know where she is now, but, whatever. When she called, she's like, yeah, they usually don't respond sometimes. It's rough to get them to believe emotional abuse, But she was still willing to call, She still did it. She still believed me, and stuff like that. Like you said, it was recognizable,
Well, not only that, too, but also to Safe House or Safe Nest, the women's battered shelter there, they opened up a case for us, and they helped us out. And they came to court with us, They came to court with me, at least, the woman over there.
Yeah, us. I wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't there, yeah. So
but,
anyway,
yeah.
And we've been going along with this. Then, oh, my God, at one of the last hearings, the ex-wife actually wanted this to end. But by that point, the judge was so pissed off at me about filing this writ to try and get her removed from the case and trying to get her errors reversed, and that I supported her opponent, that the judge would not allow this to end. My ex-wife's attorney is actually saying, Your Honor, I'm in the middle here because my client wants this to end and go back to the way it was before, but you won't let me. I don't know what to do here. Okay,
I don't know what to do.
Can you imagine that? Where you're in court for a custody situation between a mother and a father and their kid, and the judge is interfering and saying, no, I want this litigation to continue forever. So, of course, now her greedy freaking lawyer, he's getting this guy. Oh, no, there's so much more, too. The judge tried to stick me with all his legal fees, with all the legal, they hit me with all the legal costs. But anyway.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just talk mostly like what happened. We can get into litigation stuff on your own and stuff.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Let's get to the good news.
The good news. Is there good news?
Yeah, there is, man.
I'm kidding.
So now.
But I mean, basically for a while, because it's been a couple months. I think I would say about like 4 months, right? 4 or 5 months. That nothing was really kind of going on, like everything was kind of steady,
What happened was your mother wanted this to end 3 months ago, okay? But the judge says, no, we're going to have a return date and a trial date, an evidentiary hearing, today, the 14th. It would have been, okay? So, and the judge said, and by the way, when we have this hearing, you're going to lose because I'm ruling against you. There's so much reversible error in this. It's beyond. It's beyond anything you can imagine. So the judge says, and when we have this hearing, you're going to lose. I'm going to rule against you at the hearing. Before hearing my evidence, my case, nothing, I was never allowed to speak in front of this judge. I was never allowed to present any kind of facts or evidence. We had tapes of Victoria being abused by this therapist, Ponzo. We cursing at her, screaming at her.
Yeah.
Never allowed to bring that up.
And by the way, right? I mean, I kind of feel uncomfortable admitting this, but whatever. Yeah. You only listened to one, and you were pissed off. Like, I mean, there's a couple, I mean, and that was him saying goodbye to me. Like,
Yeah, if you ever listen to these tapes, and they're going to go public. We got the tapes. They're going to go public.
Yeah, I mean, I think at a time I'm a bit more comfortable.
Right.
I think we need to get over it. I think there needs to be some. I don't feel comfortable kind of bringing up the wound until me and my mom are good.
Yeah, I know. Listen, it's embarrassing, all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
But so the hearing was supposed to be today. The evidentiary hearing was supposed to be today, and the judge said I was going to lose at this hearing. But who saved the day?
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. And it's true. So many people are praying for us, man, and we've been praying, But Victoria went to her mother and negotiated a settlement.
Well, do you mind if I explain it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, there was a leak at me and Mom's house, which is fine, whatever. I heard apparently, like, there's been some problems with pipes throughout the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's a big thing over there. But whatever. So there was a leak, and my room... Like, I was in this leak room for a couple months because I thought it was the dog peeing. And it smelled awful, by the way. Like, awful.
Really?
Yeah. This wasn't a good way of living, but whatever. And once, we found out it was a leak, we had to tear the carpets off and, make a hole in the wall and stuff. So at that time, I was, everything was moved to the spare room we have, which used to be my dad's room. And I was supposed to, my mom offered me her bedroom, which, by the way, is so uncomfortable. Like, that's uncomfortable. So I was sleeping, like, not on the couch, but in the living room, like, on this, like, side little wall. And I didn't feel comfortable. Like, I didn't have, like, a place to change and stuff. I didn't have, like, a private room, you know? I'm a teenager. I need space. And, so I think, I feel bad about doing this now. But I talked to my dad about it. You know, I was like, I don't feel comfortable before talking to my mom, which I feel bad about. But whatever. So I talked to my dad, and my, dad sent an email. And he was like, hey, Victoria's not really feeling comfortable, whatever, like, what can we do about this room situation? So I stayed over at your house for, I would say a couple days or something. I don't know. It was about a week.
Yeah, right. 3 days.
It wasn't the 21. It was like a week or something. And my mom was able to get everything out of the spare room, and then I was living there for a bit, Then we had to get everything out of the spare room because I think we were painting it, because we did this whole paint thing too. Because, we were already doing stuff for the room and stuff, whatever. And then I was like, okay, so where am I staying, I'm sorry, is there something wrong? Like audio-wise? Hello? Hello? Oh, okay. I'm going to keep going. So, I didn't know where I was supposed to stay, and after that, I kind of was like, Mom, where am I staying? And we got into this huge fight because it was the day that we were moving the stuff out of the spare room into the garage or something. I don't know. It was something, like, we had to move some stuff, and I found out, like, driving home from school. And it was really confusing because it was the kind of thing where I was like, my dad has a show at like 4 or 5 or whatever. The show's on Friday. And I was like, okay, so we either need to finish before 4, or whatever. Because she was like, do you want to go to your dad's early? I'm like, of course, So when we got home, it seemed like she was kind of like stalling a bit, Like she was like, oh, okay, let's have dinner and then we'll move the stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So when we were eating dinner, I was like, so where am I staying? And then it turned into this whole heated fight, where it was like, why are you concerned about where you're living? I'm doing all this painting and reevaluating and, redoing and remodeling and stuff for you, and you're only concerned about where you're living. So she dropped me off at my dad's house, and literally we got to the gate, because we live in a gated, I guess, community, we can call it. And she was like, leave. Like, you could just, like, walk up to the gate and like maybe your dad could pick you up there. Like, it was bad. And she kind of said something along the lines, or direct quote, I'm not exactly sure because it was a while ago, where she was like, I don't care, like, just live with your dad, like, I don't even care anymore. So we did
wait,
yep.
You're rustling around a bit.
Oh, am I? I'm sorry.
There you go.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So, basically she kind of said something along the lines of just live with your dad, like, fine, I don't care. And so we kind of did that, for 21 days I lived with you, And this was during the school year, it was like March 1st to March 21st or whatever,
Right, and meanwhile, we have no car, we get no child support, now I have the kid full time.
And my mom didn't text me until a couple days in. Like, it was, we didn't have any communication for a while, didn't know whether or not she was picking me up, you didn't know what's going on, whatever, right? So we finally get something back, and I guess I went back to her house, and I was like, look, Mom, we need to talk, This is something we need to talk about, we need to get through this and stuff. So we talked about the issue, and I was like, look, what we need to do? We need to do a 5-2, 5 days with my dad, 2 days with you. Let's make a list of things that we want to fix in the relationship. And we kind of said things like, okay, but if I have a problem, like a living situation, I would talk to her first before any emails were sent. Or we're going to apologize when we're in a fight. We're not going to leave anything unsaid. We're not going to do anything. Oh, okay, never mind. Like stuff like that. We're going to work on communication. We're going to go to therapy and stuff like that. We're going to work things out, So that's kind of how this good news sparked, I guess you could say, or started.
You sent me an email saying that you guys agreed we're going to be 5-2, all this kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I wrote up the whole motion. I wrote up the stipulation and order myself. But they didn't like that one. Her lawyer had to rewrite another one. Which pretty much says the same exact thing, except a couple of things we wanted. But anyway, so we go to court on Tuesday. Last Tuesday, which
and
was
the club going up
for the
on a Tuesday. Sorry,
for the preliminary hearing before the court, and the judge again is yelling at me and cursing me out. And I think, you guys have no idea what it's like.
Meanwhile, I was an intern.
Yeah, I'm not
chilling.
I'm not even allowed, to talk in this courtroom in front of this judge, except when she's yelling at me. But I just go with it,
Yeah, like, whatever. Yeah.
And so I says, Your Honor, the month is not even here. And we have an agreement. I don't know what's going on. So then the judge starts discussing our negotiations, which are not our settlement negotiations. You're not allowed to do that in court. There's so many violations by this judge. This judge should not be near a
Dad,
bench or near a court.
I love how we're telling good news. You're still upset.
So I leave there. And the judge says, actually, because what the ex-wife wanted was to return to court. She wanted to give me temporary custody and return to court in 6 months. So when I tell this to the judge gets off of that. Like, you guys, you get, oh my God. The judge has a heart attack, but says to the ex's lawyer, I'm not signing anything that says you can return in 6 months. This has to be final. So, which is, again, in my favor, So I call up the ex-wife. I tell her, hey, listen, the judge isn't going for that. She doesn't believe me. Her lawyer's not talking to it. Her lawyer's ripped her off for so much money. I have no idea. So, and the judge, too, which was no one has had any interest in solving this or resolving any of this from the very start, from the first time we walked into court. Not one therapist, not one evaluator. Mm-hmm. Not one lawyer, not one judge.
But it does seem like, honestly, I know we're only we're not a month into the new deal.
Yeah.
But we're a month into me and my mom trying to fix things.
Right.
And I can definitely say things have changed.
Yeah, I can tell too.
Things are getting better.
Yeah.
I'm talking to my mom a lot more than I used to. Things are a lot easier. I'm not crying when I'm, coming home, and I'm not crying when I'm, leaving anymore.
That's what you're saying.
So, I mean, there's been huge improvements. Like, don't take this as, we hate everything, and look, we finally got a break, Right. But I honestly think that things are going good, I'm sorry, keep going.
You're right, and I think that was all you're doing,
thank you.
And your negotiations and your mediation. To solve things with your mom.
I do truly think, too, which is something we haven't highlighted in this episode, and a lot more wanted to,
Go ahead.
That this was definitely, I think, because I went to Dedicated a couple weeks ago, and it was like a youth conference. And I think I definitely got a lot of messages saying that stuff like this, stuff going on with the radio show, when we're under attack by West Memphis 3 or whatever people, or when we're under attack, court-wise or whatever, it's a spiritual fight. It's not a physical fight or a physical struggle that we're going through, It's, basically our faith against their faith, It's these evil people, who think they can take people's money or think they can do this or think they can do that against, good-spirited Christians that have God, behind them and stuff. And I definitely think that though we negotiated a deal, this was something that could have fell apart, This is something that, wasn't temporary, wasn't anything, helping something. I definitely think this was a miracle from God,
I agree.
This was a powerful triumph. This is our 7th day kind of thing, And I think that's something where, that's not being highlighted when people talk about good news,
No, I agree. And there's a lot of feedback.
Oh, there's a lot of feedback? Okay, let me fix this. I'm so sorry.
That's good. No, I agree.
Is that better?
Yeah. No, not really. Can you close your door? I think the door's
Can I close my door?
Yeah.
I can do that.
I think one of the things, there's a lot of feedback.
You think what?
There's a lot of feedback. Let me see here. What can I do?
I'm so sorry. Let me do this, right?
No. Hold on. When I talk, put your finger over the mouthpiece on your phone. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, put your thumb over it. There you go. That's better. Okay, now
that's my thumb not being there.
Put your thumb over it. But the thing is, I think that when you went to that youth meeting, your prayers had a lot of power, and when you came back, you were on fire and stuff like that. And I think your prayers had a lot of power back at that time, which is like a week ago, because everything just came to a head this week, and we were able to actually sign this stipulation and order yesterday at like 4:45 p.m. Right before the close of court. Otherwise, we would have had to go to trial today. Now, I'm not prepared to go to trial at all on this. I gave up. I was just going to do an appeal after I lost it. And by the way, too, if we would have, what they were asking for when we went to court today was for me to lose legal custody, where I wouldn't see Victoria at all. I would have no visitation, no custody, no nothing. That's what they were putting down on paper. The mother never wanted that, but that's what they were putting on paper.
Hey, you know what I want to verify too, right?
Yeah.
We got it back to half and half, you know. We're currently, after the good news, right at this moment, we're 5-2. But before, last week, we were half and half.
Yeah.
I want to clarify that just in case people think we're still 1-6, you know?
No, yeah. That's been gone for a long time. That 3 months ago, I got joint custody again. And again, even still, too, I had more than that was from Saturday morning until
they gave us 2 days or something, right? And then we went back one more or something.
No, that was Saturday morning till Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
And even that is 4 days when I should have got child support and all kind of stuff like that. But still, nothing in reality counts in this courtroom with this insane judge. But anyway, yesterday we got this thing signed right before the deadline. Right now, Victoria's with us 5 days a week. I have primary custody. I have now the full custody.
Now my dad can do whatever he wants.
All right, and I have this is permanent too, by the way, until she's 18 years old, unless something comes up like this radio show comes up, they can turn things around. But the point we're trying to make to you guys is that we've been through hell for 10 years, since this whole divorce started. My poor kid is a great kid. She's a gifted kid, and she doesn't deserve any of this, man. And I think that so much of what we've been through has strengthened our faith in God. That we can go back to the first custody stuff when things were so stacked up against me, when I was going up against a lawyer that was in the paper for bribing the judge we had. And we didn't get that turned around until I hired the other judge, the other lawyer that bribes that judge. Okay? Because that's how things work here in Nevada. But we've had a huge miracle. We have a huge weight lifted off our shoulders right now. And I woke up today happy for the first time in 18 months. But really
Definitely.
Happy, but really happy and satisfied and safe, for the first time in 10 years. You guys know how to
think...
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you mind? Or
yeah, I do mind.
You do mind. I think a huge point, and I think we've made this, but I want to repeat it again for all those atheist listeners out there. No. Yeah. I think, I think my faith, at least, is stronger than ever.
Yeah.
And I think this was, because when I was little, when we got the last, miracle like this, I was 7 years old, 7, 8, right?
Yeah.
Around that age. So I think living through this now and having complete memory of it, knowing every single detail, that I know of, outside of court, knowing what I went through and seeing the change, from one day to the next. Because this wasn't something that happened like a slow process that we knew was going to happen every single second, This was something where it was like, one day we thought it wasn't going to happen and the next it happens, And it was a great miracle, And I think now, looking forward, we have our lives back.
And even this past week, trying to find out if the ex and her lawyers, if the judge and her lawyers,
what's going on?
Yeah, was going to let my ex go along with this because she was on vacation in New York City and she dropped everything and flew out here to sign these paperwork, and they wouldn't even let her do it. And I was checking my email literally like every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes to see, refreshing that page to see if what was going on. This has been a nightmare, man. It's taking years off our lives. My poor kid has gone through hell, man, for 10 years. But
so I think the point we're trying to make, right?
Go ahead.
Is that our faith is stronger than ever. Next month we're doing the Daniel fast, And as a radio show that your radio show, my radio show, whatever I'm doing coming up, is going to be stronger than ever from now on, because not only do we have I think a huge part of our faith back, but we have our lives back. We have time to do things creatively, through God's, the words and God's, God's work, And I think looking forward, there's so much to look forward to, Yeah. We got so many projects on the way that are going to be blessed by God, And that I think we're finally... Of course, I think there's going to be negative topics on your show because that's just the reality of true crime and conspiracies and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be spun on a more positive light now that we're more positive,
Oh, yeah, because, when I listened back to the shows I did before all this happened, even back in January before, the hammer came down at us, I was so happy in those days, man. And I listen to the shows now, I got this weight on my shoulders,
Yeah.
So now that's gone. We can focus on the members section. We have great opportunities to do film production. I'm talking to a film school out here that, and we have a grant too that we can apply for this grant. If anybody wants to help me fill out this paperwork to apply for this grant, I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be really appreciated. Yeah. By the way, can I talk about the members section real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So, as my dad said previously when we started the show, I will be joining the member section. Talking back will be on the member section. I'm sorry, guys. And my plan, at least for now, since I'll have school and stuff coming up and projects and all that, I'm in an AP class and debate and stuff, so it's going to be a lot of work.
Hold on. Victoria was accepted to the only advanced placement class in freshman year at Coral Academy of Science, which is a really good school.
I had to punch a couple nerds. I had to kill a couple nerds. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm going to be really busy. So my ideal plan for the show will be once a month, and it'll be like a really good guest. Like it'll be someone like Leslie Marshall or Bob Beers or someone that we'll get on, and it'll be like an hour-long show. It'll be in the member section for, I guess, the same price as your shows, or would it be cheaper?
No, it's included.
It's included. It's included in the membership section.
Free.
for free.
No, it's included, with all the other shows.
Yeah. I didn't know, are you still selling them individually too, or?
We'll be selling the shows individually too as well.
Okay, so that's what I was talking about. But yeah, so my plan would be once a month. That would be the glory plan, but it'll probably go a bit less than that, but whatever.
No, we'll get all that going again. Like I said, we have a lot of stuff, a lot of projects in the works.
A lot of plans. Yeah. I think I want to start a YouTube channel, I think I want to write a book. There's a lot of stuff coming up. And, I mean, you got a lot of stuff coming up. That's more guaranteed,
Yeah, guys. There's a ton of stuff. We have a ton of opportunities, that we can move forward with here. And I also want to just reach out to people that are kind of disgruntled or angry with me on a personal basis and kind of trying to sabotage things. Just guys, go. You go your way. I'll go my way. and everybody will be happy, and we don't need any kind of problems or attention or aggravation to all this stuff like here. A big grief in my life is out of my life, and what I would like to do is devote my life now to pursuing this show and bring
Definitely,
out right. And we have great opportunity to bring out a lot. We got E. Howard Hunt's son. We have all these people, who want to work with us, and Courtney Love's dad, Dr. Judith Reisman, all these people, the West Memphis 3 people that want to work with me and bring out this information that I think we all agree is important information. So all the bickering in the background and the nonsense, okay, let's quell that and put an end to that, and all the harassing my former guests and stuff. So we get this information out there, okay? That's what we're all trying to do. I've had a rough year and a half, so maybe I haven't been the nicest guy in the world. Okay.
Do you mind if I make a comment before you say something?
Because Vic, you're right too. I haven't been the nicest guy in the world to you either.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I mean, I don't want to. I have to say, this. My dad has fought for me for 10 years. When I know that some guys would just walk away. It's so easy to walk away. And I think when it comes to the things you're talking about with the drama behind the scenes or drama, in the scenes for whatever these people decide to do with what we've, our apologies or whatever we've done, that I think we can confidently say, especially since we've had this miracle, that we got the power of Jesus behind us, and this show is purely, God's will, whatever God wants the guest to say, he's gonna reveal, or she's gonna reveal, So it's petty and stupid and just a waste of everyone's time to be harassing guests,
right. And
sabotaging the show, to be, making up stupid conspiracy theories, with flat Earths and
let's not go too far. But
multiple suns. Like, who cares? Like, I think the Opperman report stands by itself, in its truth and stuff, and we're just not gonna, I think we're too happy to deal with these fights anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. The stress in our life is over. We want to move forward.
We're done.
I think even with, guys, with the hell we've been through in the past 16 months, which has been serious, I want to see anybody else out there that can see their kid in the kind of shape that my kid was in during this stuff was going on, that could come on the air and put on a show where you're fighting the 1%, where you're fighting the powers that be, and I'm bringing you truth and justice in the American way and all that kind of stuff, guys. I'm doing
the American way.
No, that's from Superman. But I'm doing the best that I can, guys. Okay, to put out a good product. Okay, against all odds. Okay, because even without all this stuff going on in the background in my personal life, to put out the product that I'm putting, I'm fighting all these right-wingers, these right-wing radio stations that are entrenched in power in radio. They're right-wingers and they're entrenched. They have the power. I'm fighting against that. I'm fighting against alternative media folks that don't like the fact that I have sponsors, that I have a member section, and that the show is successful. That we're simulcasting all these different shows. I'm fighting that as well, okay? And on top of that, I got to fight the government. I got Black Panthers coming on my show. I got people coming out of prison. I got people calling me from prison. Guys, this is no joke.
This is supposed to be a positive show.
It is a positive show.
Yeah. I love you.
I love you too. It's a positive show. We all love each other. Listen, guys, get off my back. Okay. But on the other end too, we also need your support to keep this going. Okay. Now we don't need all of the support to be drained away in the Clark County, Nevada legal system and corrupt pirates and thieves that have taken every penny, my last penny that I own, in my car.
But just think, right? the shows in the past have been amazing. I haven't listened to them, but they're amazing. You know, just think that was when we were under all this attack.
Right.
You know, looking forward, you know, huge people coming up. You know, huge people in line already that we have coming up. Our special guest, you know, tomorrow it's going to be recorded. You know, documentaries are going to be in the making. You know, oh, hi, plane. You know, documentaries are going to be in the making. You know, books are going to be in the making. You know, we're only going to keep chugging out better and better content.
Yeah, I want to point out too that Sean Duff, who's been helping out with the member section and uploading stuff for me. Also, too, is doing a great job. But also, too, we're going to be adding documents, court docs, and all kinds of stuff like that to the member section as well that are related to the subjects that we're covering. So my plan is for this website and the radio show and all stuff like that is to really, really get information out there to you. Now, with all the work I'm doing on the Jeffrey Epstein case, a little bit of money, I can order all those docs. They'll all be on the member section. That we don't have, no one has to say, oh, where can I get these docs? Where can I get them? How much does it cost? How do I get on Pacers? How do I sign up? How do I do that? You go straight to the member section. It's all there. These documentaries as well. They'll be available through the member section. So, guys, you know, it's not about me getting rich off this. If I want to get, there's a lot of stuff I can do to get rich. I want to. I think I have a talent in this area, and we want to build up what we're doing here. Inclusively, include everybody. I've gotten a lot of people radio shows. I've gotten a lot of people, helped a lot of people in the business.
Damn.
And I want everybody, all rising tides lift all boats. Okay, we can all lift up and grow together and go in our the same direction, and without shooting arrows at me. Okay, that's all I'm asking.
But at the same time, you know, we're not going to endorse and we're not going to support people that are, you know, jumping out crazy theories, you know?
Right. That's the whole
and are just making up, because the thing is, right, like you said, if you wanted to become rich out of this, we would be feeding you BS, you know? We'd be talking about, you know, C's being false or whatever, you know? And we would be charging you for ridiculous things, you know? We would be, you know, selling ourselves out. And that's not what we're doing. We're giving you quality content for a really cheap price, you know?
Okay. So, Vic, I'm ready to end the show. We're almost I know, right? Went a little longer than we thought. But actually, guys, you know, you have no idea how happy we are. And as much as I wanted to lay out what I've been through the past 18 months and what Victoria's been through. And, you know, everybody loves their kids. Nobody wants to see their kids suffering and in pain. So I wanted to lay that out to you, to give you an idea of what I've been through, okay? And now this is over. Guys, we're free at last.
Woohoo! You know? Oh, isn't that the title?
Yes, Victoria Opperman, free at last. And we're focused on presenting you the best information we can and to fight the good fight. And we're not afraid to take on big opponents, either one of us. You know, or the team, you know, behind the Opperman Report. None of us are afraid to do that. But we need to kind of excuse personal differences and personal egos and jealousies and whatever, and you know, backstabbing two-bit losers.
Look, here's the thing, right? I understand that you won't get this reference, but other people will get this reference. You know, if you want to mess with us, it's gonna be like the Taylor Swift Bad Blood video. You know, we go hardcore. You know, and we don't have time for these, you know, stupid little petty dramas that some of you guys probably know what we're talking about, you know?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of a fight either, okay? Because everything
I do is... you know, though we may be saying that we don't want to fight, at the same time, you know, if you're going to hurt us, we're just going to, like, give you love back that's going to hurt you even more than anything we could possibly say. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, I think we're going...
Yeah, we're done.
Way too many times, and it's getting... So, Vic, I love you very much. You know, thank God we've gotten through this.
Yeah.
It's over.
It is. It's over.
It's over, you know.
It's finally over.
I know. Been through hell, man, but it's over, and thank God for that. And we're all going to be moving together and focused on doing what we can to make positive change and a positive good. And yeah. and justice, truth, justice, and the American way. That's what we're looking for here. God bless you all. Thank you. Good night. And we'll see you tomorrow. I'm recording some shows. Friday night, guess what? I don't have a guest.
Yeah.
I've been a little busy this week, so I did not book a guest.
Just a tad bit busy, like not that busy.
I thought it was the end of the world, with who the hell.
Yeah.
But I got some
maybe that's what we'll talk about for Friday night show.
Yeah, maybe I'll make something up. And by the way, too, I've had advertisers come to me. They want to sell, all kinds of products. Well, but it has to be doom and gloom. You got to really pump it up. You got to, the coming collapse.
I mean,
I'm not doing
he won't.
guys.
He won't even let me put an ad up for the shop I want to do without paying him.
Oh, you're so mean.
No, I'm kidding.
We are looking for sponsors, though, man. Especially
we are, yeah.
An auto dealership. If you have a dealership, a used car dealership, or something like that, we need a car. We need a car badly, guys. Help us out, okay?
Yeah, a car would really. Because the thing is, like, the thing with Courtney Love. Did he talk about it on air or?
Yeah.
Okay, so things like Courtney Love's father wanting us to film a documentary. That can't happen because we don't have a car. Like things could really move along if we kind of got this one last. I know it sounds stupid, but if we got this one last thing, things could move a lot faster than they probably will now.
Like even today, to get Vic over to this youth thing, I had to walk for 2 hours. So take some time out of my day.
And he got up at 5:00 in the morning.
I think it was 4:35 today, but anyway. But listen, guys, thank God we had a miracle in our lives this week. We're very grateful. We're very happy. I thank everyone who supported me financially the past year. A lot of people put up money to our GoFundMe page and donated money. Don't think I don't appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate it. I thank you for it. Okay.
Do they know about the dance?
What dance?
The dance you do when...
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the GoFundMe. But guys, listen.
Okay.
Thank you all very much. My daughter's a little crazy tonight, but what are we going to do? We're both very happy and excited about what we've been through. And it's over. It's over. The war is over. And, we want peace with everyone. Not just with the ex-wife, not just with the mom. We're looking for peace everywhere. Okay? No more fighting, no more destruction. No more conflict. Let's all move in the same direction, okay? Because if we do not stick together, we all fall apart, okay? So we have to be focused in the same direction, guys, and not concerned about each other's personal flaws. God bless you all. Thank you. Good night. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope we made sense. I don't even know if we were, maybe this might be a lost episode.
Who knows? Is anyone even there?
Yeah, there's plenty of people there. I can see.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. We love you all, guys. Good night. Vic?
Yeah?
You want to say good night?
Bye.